This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not therapy or clinical treatment and does not create a therapist-client relationship. If you are in need of mental health support, please consult a licensed professional. The views expressed by guests are their own and may not reflect those of Fredrick Bush or OBBM. Participation in any discussion does not replace professional medical or psychological advice. Listener discretion is advised for emotionally sensitive topics.
Welcome to On Being Black Man, a blueprint for power and purpose with Fredrick Bush. This is a space for truth, healing, and forward motion for Black men and the people who love them, bringing together real voices from the community, brothers, fathers, thinkers, artists, and everyday people, sharing honest conversations about manhood, mental health, relationships, legacy, and what it means to carry both history and hope. We're not here to fix. We're here to build. From generational trauma to emotional growth, each episode offers reflection, perspective, and a call to reclaim power on our own terms. Whether you're navigating struggle or stepping into the unknown, you're not alone. This is for men. This is about men. This is On Being Black Men.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Fredrick Bush here. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here in New York, and this is On Being Black Men. And this is my fourth episode, if you will. Let's not make it show. It's too highfalutin. This is just another episode of On Being Black Men. I'm pleased to be here again to introduce you to someone of interest and a Black male who has been striving and being part of the community and, like many of us, not perfect, having his own struggles like I have had and you have had. So today's guest is Kareem Collins. And he's a mobility, aerobics, and strength training instructor. And he specializes in strength training, balance, stability, and coordination exercises. But he has a focus on seniors and people with Parkinson's and other neurological challenges, and folks who have post-cancer diagnosis. So right there, I'll just take a little break and say, well, that's how I met Kareem. So on my third podcast, the episode, you met Calvin Gary, and he is my present coach. And if you want to go back and listen to that, that's very interesting. I have had 3 trainers in the last about 3 years. And Kareem is number 2. So I meet him because of my post-cancer diagnosis. When I was diagnosed with, my second treatment around my prostate cancer. So this is, I'm going to have even the last one, the very first one really, on soon. But they all 3 of them kind of have this trajectory coming out of mainstream fitness training. Kareem is no different. He was a trainer at New York Sports Club, and I think all 3 of them have that in common. I think Calvin probably was at Equinox, and they both, all of them had this kind of other experience in doing things. But Kareem also, he seems to have anchored himself within the medical side of fitness and fitness training. He was involved in some research at Long Island University, and he's teamed up with Mount Sinai and 92nd Street Y at some point, excuse me, creating the Parkinson's Exercise Program, PEP. And he was also part of the Hiram Brown Senior Center, works a lot with seniors, which is, very estimated and underserved population. And they probably need it the most. As we age, we slow down. If we are sitting down and not doing anything, then we start to atrophy. So as a senior, you probably need more of that, and I'm sure we'll get on that. He also had a program called Teen Fit, which is a boxing and skills program, and Kareem himself is, he's an avid uh, boxing enthusiast, and he was trained. He has his education at Brooklyn College around exercise science. So here we have another Black male who attended college, and that is important that we all go to school, get an education, get our credentials, and then be kind of productive in the world. And Kareem does that in spades. Mr. Collins, how you doing?
How you doing? Doing well, Bush. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you as part of this endeavor that I'm doing to spread the good word of not just mental health, but you represent the physical health, and those things are not parted. They're not. They're one and the same. If we feel fit, then our mind will probably be fit. So you are in that. Before we get into kind of what you do, one of the questions that comes up even in my ICBM workshops is about, and I ask all guests of this, including the women, of which I've only had one, Robin Wiley, but she answered it too. And what is your understanding of what it means to be a man? And, has that evolved over time for you?
Yeah, I think that question, for me, it's always evolving, because I mean, that's like marriage. We, till death do us part, right? So as you live on day to day, every day is not the same. So you're always going to experience different things. So your visual and your mentality are always going to follow through with dissecting what these things are. So yeah, idea and rationale about who I am in this particular moment, as opposed to yesterday and the day prior to that, they're always going to find something to chain and grow on. And certain things are probably going to be the same, not quite the same, but these things are a staple. So as you grow on your day to day, I don't want to say year to year, but day to day, you go through today, you make sure you execute today. So whatever your terminologies are for today, that sets the premise for the different evolutionary stages you go on through your manhood. And
Okay, so
I
let's
think
let's pin you down, because what are you? I accept what you say. It's an evolution of day to
Mhm.
day. It's almost like it's the fourth agreement in the four agreements. Do always do your best, but your best changes from day to day, from hour to
Sure.
hour, from minute to minute, month to month, year to year. Um, Today, what does it mean for you to be a man today, this day?
This day,
Hmm.
this day. You're not gonna pin me down for very long, Bush.
Oh, that's my job.
I know, right? I mean, as I wake up day to day, I definitely give my gratitudes to see another day. I know what my daily output is going to be. So I definitely just try to really knock out what I see as the objectives are for today. and just see my way through completion on that. And make sure I just do the best I could possibly do and do as much as I can do for today. And make sure I try to see some change for today. So, I mean, I'm doing it for me, but I'm also doing it for whatever is my audience is for that day. So I always try to make sure I can lead the way on the track to make sure it makes sense for whoever's following me today to make sure they get the best out of themselves in this day. And once they feel or they give me the feedback, Kareem, I really feel good. I'm like, hey, we did that job for
Mm,
today.
mhm,
So let's not, and I always try to tell people, don't jump into tomorrow yet. You still haven't completed today.
mhm.
So once we've got that established, I know I've done my job today for those people today in order to go into tomorrow.
Okay. So, I know you, so I know exactly what you're saying, and I know this is kind of how you see the world, and you think you're a person who is of service to others. Is that fair?
Absolutely, yeah.
So then your answer is very broad in service to others. How do you, just, well, let me know if I'm wrong. How do I show up for not just myself, but for others in a day, in a moment, and give them the
A-
best that I can be in that time period? Is that kind of where you're kind of sitting?
yeah, I mean, and even that's like, an open space as well. But how do I show up? I mean, for me, there's really no one answer to that.
Mhm.
Because like I said, day to day, you're a different person. You know, one day you may wake up and you're just kind of like, you know, the hell with everybody in the world today, but I'm gonna make sure I show up and just give my 100%. So even if that is the nature of that day, the mission isn't you. The
Mhm.
mission is really making sure you can lead the way in the best possible way, and have the outcome being, oh my gosh, we did it.
Mhm.
We've done it.
So you are here again. You're more collaborative. You're thinking in a collective type of way. Is that fair? You're more
Absolutely. Yeah.
collective person. Um, I guess I'm going to try to pin you down again. The question that I'm asking, I mean, I appreciate everything that you said because I know you. I know this is, your thing is you're one of these men who give of themselves. And I mean, that's kind of your whole, you know, uh, that's how you get through the world, get through walk through the day,
Yeah.
right? Is that fair?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's just part of the character. I don't know where it came from. It
Hmm.
was just a hardwired thing,
Okay,
you know.
so then that's going to bring me to a different question. So, in the circles that you've traveled in, um, what that makes up this character, this person, family, friend, work. What was mental health like? Was it talked about? Um, was it an accessible thing as you were coming up? Did you think, I know you have this particular movement toward helping people who have Parkinson's and helping people who have a post-cancer diagnosis. As young Kareem was coming up, I mean, it's
Mhm.
not something that teenagers often think about, but as an adult, you've come to this. So how did you come to this part of
I,
your character?
yeah, I've got a very large family on both mom and dad side,
Hmm.
and a lot of that family was always togetherness. And I've always witnessed on both sides my family helping people out, you know, even though they were like almost perfect strangers. My family would leave their comforts of their homes to go, hey, XYZ needs this. I'm going to go take this to this person. I'm going to take this. I'm going to cook for this person because this person is really ill. So that was definitely an embedment towards me coming up. And of course, being young Kareem, just playing with G.I. Joes and watching TV, you don't know this at this point, but you're seeing it every time. So naturally, when you're playing with your friends and your friend is hungry or he doesn't have this or she doesn't have that, naturally these instincts just kick in and you go, hey, here, have mine. Oh no, come to my house. I've got cookies and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can play with my toys. Come on over. So as a grown man, as you look back on it and you go, wow, my childhood was great. And I do remember seeing this action and why this happened. You start decoding things and it's like, oh, wow, it does make sense now. This is who I am because of these things, in prior lifetime. And then you really just accept who you are. This is what it is. I don't know if zodiac signs have anything to do with it. I'm not really big on astrology, but people. Yeah, so I mean, I hear people saying, "Oh, you're a Capricorn. You're naturally like a generous person." This, that, and the other. I'm like, is it really? I don't know. It sounds good, but this is who you are. This is your natural character makeup because of these experiences that you encountered that you didn't even know or realize that you were encountering. So that just definitely makes you the person you are in your adulthood. I don't know if it has anything.
Go ahead, finish.
I don't know if it has anything to do with occupation, but it just seems like for me, it was like the right place to be occupationally because I can work with so many different people and be so many different places. It just made it so much more interesting rather than being stationary in one place and being stagnant with just the same group. Right. So in my lifetime, I think, I don't know how much you can go on a number scale, but my numbers of working with people and being with people are extraordinary. Can't even count it anymore. And it's even today, I can walk the street now and people go, hey, Kareem, I won't remember you visually. But if you tell me, hey, remember when you did such and such wow, yeah, I do remember that. Thanks for remembering, man. That was such an awesome event and awesome class. Like I do remember it, don't remember you, but I'm glad you do.
Okay. So did you have, I mean, this is a podcast about men. So I don't really, I very rarely ask this question. I never get to it because everyone is always saying interesting things. I kind of forgot, but you bring your family into this. So, I'm interested in the men in the family. So, what was a relationship with your father? Did you have a relationship with your father? Was he kind of part of all this, moving you in this direction and influence in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad, naturally, my dad's an athlete. So he played soccer. So definitely that is hardwired into me, my athleticism. So I played a lot of different sports as well. And I'm a shaker and baker. I move around just like he was. But even my dad would always, he would always speak to us, myself and my little brother. He would always speak to us. Like, I remember going to school, I had to wear uniforms at school. And my dad would always come pick me up, and my uniform would always be scuffled, untidy, unraveled. And he would always say, why are you always like, you leave home, you look so decent, you look so clean. When I come pick you up, why do you look like this? So I would always have to explain myself. Well, such and such, like he pushed me and then, slapped me in the face. And I had to so that turned into a whole big scuffle and a fight. So literally what I'm saying is every day Kareem was in a fight, right? Not because it was my fault. It was because Kareem was defending himself, right? That was all the mission. Like, leave me alone. We could be friends. Don't do anything where I have to put hands and feet on you. And my dad always said, look, give him the 3 strikes rule. 1 time, 2nd time you tell the teacher, 3rd time, 3 strikes and you're out. You do what you need to do. So I say that to say, he always gave me a platform, myself and my younger brother, to explain yourself. So he would always talk it out first, which again, it embeds in me. Before we get into anything, let's
Mm-hmm.
discuss this matter first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to go into this? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And my dad would always say, well, tell me why your clothes are like this. Why is your pocket ripped? Give me the rundown. So I would give him the whole scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be anything, like, from the fights to why am I mad? Why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? There was always talk and communication first. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and that extends through, like, even with my uncles, that happened as well. So there was always a platform to communicate.
So you were fortunate to grow up around men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that, not all men have that experience because of the drug trade, incarceration, all the kind of factors of that, drug abuse, things like that, particularly after the 70s, where we see the prevalence of that and the diminishing of the numbers of men. So you were fortunate enough to have your father and uncles who could have this type of discussion with it, have this dialogue with you that
Absolutely.
became meaningful as you entered manhood yourself.
Sure. Yep.
Mhm. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And every uncle was a married man.
Oh boy, you're hitting on all cylinders today.
Everyone was married. Yeah.
So we have a large. You get to see what commitment looks like.
Right.
You see, if you see it from
Right.
your father, you see it, members of your family, your uncles are committed in their marriages in whatever way that shows up, but they're there. It's not like you get to see it, you get to interact with them, which is a lot different than what we're facing, today, in today's world, where a
Yeah.
lot of men don't know their fathers. They definitely don't have, relationships with uncles and things because, many times the uncles have gone the way of the father, if there
Right.
were, you know.
Right.
Um, so that's a very strong, kind of foundational thing when we do you've been to the ICBM workshops. So, that foundational thing around attachment and evolution and development and what we see in our own kind of purview. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you're hitting all that. So okay, so there's a family structure that helps you become this man that you are now. So
Yeah.
the man that you are now is everything I said in the beginning. So what steered you toward health and fitness?
Um, it was very accidental. Because I remember at a point in my life, for one, this is gonna I mean, this is every little boy's dream, right? So I remember my heading into my sophomore year in high school.
Hmm.
That summer, one of my best friends, I've had a lot of friends, but one of the guys in my prevalent crew, he had a weight set. And I was like, wow, every time I see this guy, he's getting bigger. So what is he doing? So he showed me his weight collection. And
Hmm.
I was like, can I borrow it? Right. And I started lifting weights. It's about 15. So, and I'm like, whoa, it feels good. Then I
Hmm.
started noticing the change in my body. This is all recreation. Had nothing to
Hmm.
do with this. I was playing sports, but I wasn't lifting weights. And long story short, I started lifting weights. And we go back to school that fall. And then the girls take notice. And all of a sudden it was Kareem, Kareem, Kareem. So I was just kind of like, I'm gonna stick with this weight thing. And I'm
Hmm.
playing sports and I'm starting to fill out and I'm looking real good and things are starting to get into position. I remember saying one day, if I had a job where I can just lift weights and listen to music all day, I'll be fine. And you know that whole metaphor, be careful what you ask for.
Hmm.
That receipt went into the universe, and bada bing, bada boom, here we are. And of
Well,
course,
it's interesting that that tail thing. Be careful what you ask for. But there's also I know that people we use that a lot, but there's also something that you're also touching on. What we practice grows stronger.
yes,
So you are, even at a high school age, are practicing something that informs you to, yes, I think when you're young, you're thinking about attention in that way, but um, it also shapes how you move into other phases of your life. I'm sure at some point it become less about the attention of girls, women, and
mhm,
more around because you've made a career of it.
right, right, yeah, yeah. So it
So,
definitely became less about the girls and just the recreation. I mean, after a while, it became the job.
hmm.
It was work after that. And then at some point, I had to figure out, well, I don't want it to feel like work. How can I transition and make this okay, fun occupation and more athletic? So I was still into sports. And what I would do is I would find local events to compete in. So I'd have something specifically to train for.
Hmm.
All right. So as I was going through my training, I would sometimes apply my training to the people that I was working with, depending on um, age and what they were going for. It's like, oh, this would be great for you, and their mobilities and things like that. So it became not work, not athleticism, but it became fun again because now I can take what I'm doing or what I've learned and apply it here and apply it here and apply it here. Even with the seniors that I would work with, they'd be like, oh my God, this is so great. It just became beneficial and useful for everybody. So the sports curriculum became a higher stature for me to, share it with the ones that I was working with.
Hmm. How did you? So you started working with people. I don't know if they were. You said seniors, but I don't know if you give me the kind of the how what was it?
The demographic?
Well, no, the trajectory. Did you start off working with seniors as a young person, or?
No. I think well, I want to say yes and no. I can't say entirely no and entirely yes because my stable was a mixed bag.
Mhm.
And I think the younger half of that stable was just kind of like for them, I don't know if I really want to do this. I'm just kind of trying it out. These are my goals and this is what I want to do. And that was the portion of the bag that they've never worked out before. They're doing it because somebody said they should do it, or my doctor said this, that, and the other, and I need to do XYZ and blah, blah, blah. So that was the shaking of the bag with the holes at the bottom, make sure no one falls out. But of course, you get the leak at the bottom of the bag. Okay, fine.
Mm-mm.
So that was that portion of the stable. The other portion was the older group who could be your mom, your dad,
Mhm.
your grandma, your grandpa. That was the steady bag of everything,
Mhm.
right? So, and then you put them all together and you go, okay, this is a steady bag. This person on the younger side is pretty steady. So they're a workhorse. This person is kind of like, I don't really know. This person is just kind of like out of the door. Um, so I had that kind of
So what you're saying is
mixed
you had
bag.
a mixture of people when you started
Yep.
to learn how to do training.
Yeah, to definitely apply it more to training, because like I said, this was all recreational at first.
Oh, I
And then it
see.
became, and then when you talk about training, it has to be very specific to that person. You're not
Mhm.
just gonna say, okay, today we're gonna run track, tomorrow we're gonna go swimming and did that.
Mhm.
It was just kind of I had to learn that portion of everything to say, oh, okay, this is how this training thing works.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh. So you were training your parents and your grandparents at some point?
My mom, she definitely got into training with me at a certain point. Yeah, she did.
Oh,
She used to come take my fitness classes.
is that
So that was
right?
pretty, yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And it kind of excited the other portion of the class as well when they found out she was my mother. And she's like, "What? You're in here too? What? You're
Mm-hmm.
not mad at him? You know, like all these things that he's got you doing." He's like, "My mother was the person up front
Hmm.
waiting for the beat to drop, and as soon as the beat drops, you just see her ready to go. You know, just
Hmm.
pre warm up into the warm up, her full workout. Let's get this going." So she was
Hmm.
that person. Yeah. So it definitely made me put my best foot forward to make sure, like, when I'm asking her, like, "Well, how'd we do?" She's like, "Oh, that was
Hmm.
great. Like, yeah, awesome." So yeah, that's what that
Oh,
was.
great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Hmm.
But I also got a chance to work with semi-pro soccer athletes and college basketball women.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Which one? The basketball
Both that
or
time.
either?
Both.
That was really up my alley because, like I said, I grew up playing sports and just being athletic. The soccer one was pretty interesting because, like I said, my dad used to play soccer. So picking out drills and certain agility things for him to do, oh, we had a ball. You know, it was a ball. So when people saw us working together, it was like, wow, that's on a whole nother level of training. And at this time, I'm still the puppy in the group of the circle of
Mhm.
friends that I was around.
So
Um,
just one second. Where's your dad from?
Trinidad.
Oh, Trinidad. Okay, I was trying to figure out the soccer connection. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that was pretty interesting to work with him. So when that gentleman comes to me, I forget his name. It was so long ago. And he said, "Look, I play soccer, this, that, and the other." Bang, light bulbs went off. I'm excited. I'm trying to contain it. I'm just like, okay, so we can start now if you want to.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was a different thing. And it also alerted me to know what direction in fitness I wanted to go to, because it
Hmm.
was more specific rather than saying, I've got a wedding in 3 days and I need to lose 60 pounds. And I go, well, smoke crack and don't get addicted. I don't know what to tell you in 3 days. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, this you started like, a year ago, not in 3 days. But
Hmm.
yeah, so it was more realistic and directed to the person and just direction that I wanted to go to. And that was more fun for me, athletics through fitness. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was more fun for me. And then I had the upper senior group who were not athletes, but like certain things like golfers and skiers. And again, that was fun for me too because it was very specific and seasonal.
Hmm.
So in the wintertime, you would change up the program. In the spring and the summer, you would change up the program. So I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. I like this. It's a good direction where things are not too abstract and we just keep going from there. So it made it easier um, and more creative for me to do things because I can, put certain exercises together and go, wow, how am I supposed to do this? So, making your coordination and balance into a strength program was just, hey, this is what we're going to do. And it minimize a lot of just unnecessary movement, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah, it was fun.
So what do you I asked Calvin this. He was here in I think January, February. And I asked them about what people should think about, not so much as a resolution, but we're here, we're pretty much into the year. But it for me, it's like, you know, when I came to you, I had, very specific things.
Mhm.
I was doing strength training. I, uh, you like the other two added, balance, stability, so it's kind of an all-around workout, not just one thing. I've uh, was upping my cardio at the time, which I still struggle with.
Mhm.
Um, one of the things that I have struggled with is my weight, not because, I've been eating, pie every day, but because the medication, keeps your testosterone low. So you're doing all this heavy lifting, but it does not necessarily promote your the loss of weight.
Right.
So that's my particular thing. But what would you say? Here you are training your mother, and you know, we have that population of elders. What do you say to them around their own fitness? Because we still have all those things: hypertension, um, obesity, um, diabetes. You know, uh, I'm since my own diagnosis, I hear more cancer with Black people, definitely with
Mhm.
Black men, the prostate cancer. Um, you also have, I'm going to double up on questions here. This thing around Parkinson's, which is something, I wonder, did you also add that on because it's needed, but because I know you're a boxer and Ali suffered from Parkinson's at some point in
Mhm.
time in his life. So I know that's a mixed bag of questions, but okay, basically here it is. What should Black people, Black men in particular, do to safeguard themselves around health and fitness, and start this regiment and keep it going?
Just get more active, you know. When I say that, that could be anything, you know. Put the bottles down, put the cigarettes down. That was a thing designed to really destroy a people and destroy a people slowly without you even realizing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the eating portion of it, I think that could be for anyone. Just got to eat healthier, you know. Look, we all like a good barbecue. I get it. Me too.
Hmm.
But when you think it's barbecue season every day, stop
Hmm.
it. You
Hmm.
know, the crown fried chicken on the corner, it's not going to get you the way you want to. You know,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
love macaroni and cheese and I love it thick. I'm not eating that
Hmm.
every day. You can't do
Hmm.
these things, you know.
Hmm.
Not to be too scientific, but that stuff when it's processing through your system doesn't pass very fast. That's a
Hmm.
slow, thick burn. You know,
Hmm.
your body is working extra overtime to squeeze and disintegrate and to break these things down. And not to mention just that, the added things that's in these foods for it to actually give it that comeback. I want that taste feeling again.
Hmm.
That's not easy stuff to process, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Especially when you're getting it out of boxes and plastic.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, ladies and gents, but those are the
Hmm.
things that's killing you. The
Hmm.
things that are being drawn out of these plastics and these cans and these boxes, slow, hard, painful death,
Hmm.
slow and hard. So I think it's just a matter of being healthy and more cognizant of the things that you're ingesting. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, everybody knows what they should do. Doesn't mean they're doing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the thing. You know, um, as far as the Parkinson's thing, I know everybody attributes the boxing and Muhammad Ali to Parkinson's. That's not it. That's
Hmm.
not it. Because when you look at Michael J. Fox, he's never thrown a punch in a boxing ring a day in his life.
Hmm.
But at 33, he was diagnosed,
Hmm.
right? So I always use that as a credible statement. It's like, no, it's not the boxing. It's things that happen to people.
Hmm.
Things happen, and when they
I
go
wasn't
bad, they
quite
go
I
bad.
wasn't quite putting the boxing together with Ali's affliction. I was
Yeah.
saying your love for boxing. He's he's the godfather of soul when it comes to boxing, and
Hmm.
I know your love for boxing. I was wondering, the not that boxing caused his Parkinson's, but because he had Parkinson, it kind of leaned you toward helping people who have it.
No, not really. Um, I just wanted to do something different rather than going, okay, lateral fly, shoulder press, bicep curl. I'm like, I was getting bored with doing things like that, you know?
Hmm.
And if you do that time and time over, let's go back to the food thing. How many times you're just going to eat red beans and rice?
Hmm.
After a while, you're going to look, man, get this plate away from me.
Hmm.
You know,
So
so I just wanted to do something different.
then how did you start, you know, uh, with the hospital? You have something with Memorial Sloan Kettering too, right?
Yeah. That was during COVID. And to say it the best way, they came looking for me. I had no idea of anything. I remember
Hmm.
getting an email one day and I really thought it was spam. I really thought it was spam. I was this close to deleting that email.
Hmm.
And something in me said, no, open this email, check it out, see what it is. Uh, and it was this young lady who works at Sloan, and she said, look, I looked up at your credentials on LinkedIn and I thought you'd be a perfect fit for this, that, and the third. And she said, this is my contact, this is my email. Please contact me. So before I do anything, I looked up her name at Memorial Sloan, and lo and behold, she's a real person. And so I
Hmm.
reached out to her and we spoke. And she said, look, I love your credentials. I love your background. I love your energy. I'm going to put you in contact with this person, this person, this person. And, I really hope this goes well for you. And that's really what it was. It was like the whole Zoom, put the face to the name type thing and
Hmm.
sign these papers and sign these papers. And yeah, and that's how that came into fruition. Like,
Hmm.
I had no idea anything like that was going to happen.
Oh, okay. So but this would be around your cancer patients or also your Parkinson's patients.
No, this is all cancer patients.
It's all cancer
It's all
patients.
cancer patients. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I did a online class at the Cancer Institute in oh my gosh, why is it the place to come back to me.
Mhm.
But that's where I did my online training because we're still at the height of COVID and quarantine. So there was
Mhm.
no going here, going here. So
Mhm.
that summer it was literally like do whatever it is I'm doing at home, study. Do whatever it is I'm doing at home, study, because we weren't sure we were going back to work anyway. So
Mhm.
I had
Mhm.
more time to do that. And yeah, so coming out of quarantine, I was able to obtain that. And it took me quite a ways. It took
Mhm.
me quite a
Mhm.
ways. Yeah.
Okay.
Portland, Oregon. That's what I was thinking about. Portland, Oregon.
Good. Good. Okay. So you did your cancer fitness training at an institute in Portland, Oregon, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Excellent. All right.
That was pretty interesting.
Mhm. Mhm. So, where does this love of where's your love of boxing kind of show up? And how do you use it within your everyone's not a boxer, as you said, but I know you love boxing.
Mhm.
And how do you where'd that love come from, and how do you use it within your training regimen?
Again, it was accidental, very accidental. I remember the coach, my first coach, I remember seeing him work with not one, two people at the same time.
Hmm.
And I was going, no way, that's impossible, man. Like, how are you doing this? And the really cool part about this was they were in a studio with the lights completely off. So the lights that's outside the studio is just giving you the illumination of the silhouettes of these three bodies. He's in
Hmm.
the middle, one person on his left, one person on his right, and they're throwing punches, and he is just catching these punches. Looks like ninjas on the TV screen fighting at night.
Hmm.
And I'm like, no way. And I'm just going back and forth, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, I'm looking. And I just said to myself, I want to do that just from the sheer action. And they're not hitting him because he's catching every single punch on these
mm,
mitts. And I'm just like, no way, no
mm,
way. Like, what is he, superhuman? And I went in the studio and I looked and I said, gee, you think you can teach me that?
mm,
He said, absolutely. So he said, look, this is where I'm going to be later on, Church Street Boxing. That's where I got my start. Come on down, man. I'll put you through it, and I blah, blah, blah. For however long you want to do this, I got you, kid. I never stopped going back ever since. But I'm going to tell you, learning is not just learning. You've got to get hit to learn.
mm, mhm,
Fredrick, I did not like getting hit.
mhm,
For me, getting hit was what I remember I told you, elementary school, my dad picking
mhm,
me up.
yeah, yeah. Mhm,
I'm ready to take off the gloves and show you what these knuckles are like,
mhm,
But
mhm, mhm,
that's what it was. It was learning, learning to take the hit and deflecting the hit at the same time. So really what I'm saying is like you're hardwiring your body to just react and anticipate what can come at you and get away from it if you feel like, this is not what I really, really want. So it was more like just for me, it was more honing the skills and allowing my body to do what it's supposed to do on instinct. Wasn't really boxing per se, because
mhm,
boxing is getting beat
mhm,
up. But thinking 2, 3 steps ahead to go, oh, I can see what you're going to do. And once you do it,
mhm,
you're going to pay for it.
mhm,
So that's what it was for me. It was just playing chess and not checkers in that
mhm,
ring.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah. So that's really what it was for me. And I can't say, and I remember my dad. So I remember my dad. I'm coming home one day from the gym, got my duffel bag on, and he's like, "Where you coming from?" I was like, "The boxing gym." He's like, "Are you hurt? Like, are you all right?" I was like, "Nah, but I think I really want to get into it." And I remember my dad says, "Look, I know you do your thing, but the day you come back here and you look all beat up and bruised, I'm gonna break your legs.
mhm.
I'm gonna break your legs." Frederick, I never
Mhm,
came home battered and bruised, man.
mhm,
Never came home battered and bruised. But yeah, it was one of those things, man. So it just kind of those things heighten my senses to be like, hey man, you want to keep doing this, make sure you protect yourself, like learn as much as you can so you can do what you want to do with this.
mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, fun times, man. Fun times.
All right. Well, I thought I knew a lot about you, but this is interesting because here it is, your father again. He's an influential part in your life, you know,
Mhm.
and what what I'm trying to do, even with this podcast, is to reach men, and many men don't have that kind of relationship,
Mhm.
where they have that kind of language with this man that they call father. They have language amongst their friends, but the father, um, the commitment of your father to you, and concern. I mean, I know it's all it's kind of your language that the two of you have, but you understood what he was saying, and what he's been instilling in you, and even up until now you're a grown person. So you know um what is it that you want to um leave with people, and not, let's make it black men. What is it do you want to leave to your peers, um or what do you want to say to them right now, and then what do you want to leave, as you're you know going through your life?
I love the question. and I've got so many things to say about that. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of words jumping out at me. Um,
Mm-hmm. Take your time.
yeah, even my peers, and so and I look at all my peers as my brothers, including my little brother. One, remember me as the person that always tried, and led with a forward and good foot. Um, and definitely use me for all as for all the examples. Why? Because whatever I got into, whatever wall there was, I always looked not to the problem, but I looked for my solutions. I think that's what most people, black men, need to do. We're going to get into trouble. We're going to make mistakes. That's going to happen. You know what the issues are? Find your solutions best as you can. You can't find the solutions on your own? Ask a question. And don't just ask your question to just any random individual, because any random individual is not the person you want the answer from. Go to your credible sources. And I would always leave that with them. However I say it, that's really the staple.
Mm-hmm.
Find your solutions. You know, and again, it's only coming out this way because we're here. But in due time, that could come out in a different way, in a different tone. But I lead by example. Follow me into that example and represent my examples. You know,
Okay.
as a best friend, as a brother, as a cousin. You know, follow my examples and take that to heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah,
So you think you have good examples? You think
I
you've
think
lived?
so.
Is that right?
I
Good for
think
you.
so. I mean, I've gone through some things. Not the not things, thank goodness, not detrimental things, but you know, we all got a story. We all got
Mm-hmm.
our stories, and you see it unfold, and you got to see your way through your storybook. You got to see it. Not every hero wants to be a hero, but when it's there, you got to take notice of it. And deliver that chapter. So that's the way I speak to my guys, and it's like, hey, what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You want to finish the book, or you just want to stay at the beginning? Because the
Mm-hmm.
beginning is the rough part.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning is the rough part. So
So,
finish
so
that
you
chapter and get
end,
to it.
yeah, you end where you began. Evolution. Things are not static. They're in motion. You're evolving all the time. So is that fair?
Absolutely. Yeah, we had that conversation once before, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
it's
it's
awesome.
good to revisit it. You're nothing if you're not constant.
Yeah, yeah.
You're you are
Row,
you
row,
are
row your boat.
right. Okay, we're at the end. I'm gonna leave it there because there's nothing else to say. I think if you feel that you've lived an exemplary life and that I wasn't trying to kill you off or anything, but it's interesting how you answered. But
Hmm.
you have a sense of that you do want to be. You're really a leader. And I think that's I've watched you be around other people, so I know that you're kind of the Pied Piper. They'll kind of join in with whatever you're trying to do.
Hmm.
So if that's what we need more of that basically, and we need uh, more sound. Kind of what you're making a caveat. You just can't listen to anyone. You have to make sure they have some stuff about them. So we're gonna end it there. Thanks for doing this. And of course, we're always in touch with each other. But if anyone wants to reach out to you, they can find you.
Yeah,
And you're doing the work that needs to get done.
yeah. I appreciate you having me, Fredrick. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for listening. And remember, whether you're navigating struggle or stepping into the unknown, you're not alone. This is for men. This is about men. This has been On Being Black Men, a blueprint for power and purpose with Fredrick Bush. You can find On Being Black Men on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and at icbmail.com. That's icbmale.com.
If you or someone you love is in emotional pain, help is just 3 digits away. Call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7. That's 988. Stay safe, stay grounded, and keep building.